You've heard of venomous snakes, deadly spiders, and poisonous frogs. But what if I told you, one of the world's most dangerous creatures is not a ferocious predator, not even an insect that bites, but a soft, fuzzy caterpillar that could kill you just by brushing against your skin? Meet the Lonomia Obliqua, also known as the assassin caterpillar. This tiny creature, native to the rainforests of South America, is responsible for more human deaths than any other caterpillar on Earth. In fact, it's so deadly that its venom can cause your body to bleed from within. So what exactly makes this innocent-looking creature so lethal? How does its venom work? And what should you do if you ever come face-to-face with one? Stay tuned, because today we're diving deep into the chilling story of the world's deadliest caterpillar. The Lonomia Obliqua is a species of moth caterpillar that belongs to the Saturniidae family, which includes the giant silkworm moths. At first glance, it looks harmless, even cute. Its body is covered in what appears to be soft, mossy green bristles, blending perfectly with the trees it rests on. But these delicate hairs hide a deadly secret. Each of those tiny spines is connected to venom glands capable of injecting one of the most potent toxins in the insect world. The caterpillar itself is typically around 5 to 7 centimeters long, with a series of green and brown stripes running along its body, helping it camouflage against bark and leaves. Its appearance resembles lichen or moss, which makes spotting it nearly impossible. But here's where things get interesting. This species doesn't attack or bite. In fact, it's completely passive. The danger comes when humans accidentally touch it, often while leaning against trees or picking fruit in the forests of southern Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, or Argentina. That innocent touch could lead to a horrifying chain reaction inside your body. The first documented cases of Lonomia obliqua envenomation date back to the early 1980s in Brazil. At the time, several mysterious deaths occurred among forest workers and farmers who had come into contact with trees in the rural state of Rio Grande do Sul. Victims complained of unusual symptoms: intense pain, bruising, bleeding gums, blood in urine, and uncontrolled internal bleeding. Local doctors were baffled. What kind of disease could cause such rapid hemorrhaging? It wasn't until 1989 that entomologists discovered the real culprit, a caterpillar species that lived high up in the trees. Locals called it the Tatarana assassina, Portuguese for assassin caterpillar. By the mid-1990s, health authorities confirmed that Lonomia obliqua was responsible for dozens of fatalities, and they began researching its venom in detail. What they found shocked the scientific community. When the spines of a Lonomia obliqua pierce human skin, they inject a complex cocktail of toxins, enzymes, and anticoagulants that target the body's clotting system. In normal circumstances, if you get a cut, your blood forms clots to stop the bleeding. But Lonomia's venom completely disables this defense mechanism. The main toxin, known as LOPAP, Lonomia obliqua prothrombin activator protease, and another called LOSAC, Lonomia obliqua Stewart factor activator, trigger your body's clotting cascade in all the wrong places. In other words, your blood starts forming clots inside your blood vessels. That depletes clotting factors everywhere else, leaving you unable to stop bleeding from even the smallest injury. The result? Victims may start to bleed from their gums, eyes, nose, or even into their brain and internal organs, a condition called disseminated intravascular coagulation, DIC. It's the same terrifying process that can occur in severe cases of Ebola or snakebite. Within hours, the person may go into shock or multiple organ failure. And the worst part? Even a few milligrams of venom can trigger this reaction. In fact, just a few spines are enough to cause serious hemorrhaging. That's why researchers call Lonomia obliqua the caterpillar of death. The stories of people who have encountered Lonomia obliqua are both tragic and alarming. In one infamous case from 1993, a 22-year-old Brazilian man named João Batista brushed against a tree trunk while collecting firewood. He didn't even realize he had touched a caterpillar, but within hours he developed severe pain, followed by bruising all over his body. Doctors later discovered he was bleeding internally. Despite receiving transfusions, he died 2 days later from massive internal hemorrhage. Similar cases continued to surface across southern Brazil, particularly in the states of Santa Catarina, Paraná, and Rio Grande do Sul. In 1 year alone, hospitals in southern Brazil treated over 300 cases of Lonomia poisoning. But here's a twist. Not everyone dies. Some victims who receive medical attention quickly can recover fully. The key lies in one critical medical breakthrough, the antivenom. As cases mounted, Brazilian scientists raced to develop an effective antidote. In 1994, researchers at the Butantan Institute in São Paulo, one of the world's leading biomedical research centers, successfully produced the first anti-Lonomia serum using horses immunized with small doses of the venom. This serum can neutralize the toxins and restore normal blood clotting, but time is critical. If given within 24 hours of exposure, the recovery rate is almost 100%. But the longer the delay, the greater the risk of permanent damage or death. The antidote is now distributed to hospitals in regions where the caterpillar is common, and field health workers are trained to identify the symptoms early. It's estimated that thanks to this serum, fatalities have dropped drastically, but accidents still occur every year, especially during the caterpillar's active season between December and March, when it descends from trees to pupate. Let's take a step back and look at the life of this fascinating yet fearsome insect. Like all moths, Lonomia obliqua undergoes complete metamorphosis: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Females lay clusters of eggs on the underside of leaves. After hatching, the larvae, the caterpillars, feed voraciously on tree leaves, particularly those of walnut, rubber, and guava trees. During the larval stage, they live in groups, often lined up along branches. This behavior increases their camouflage and unintentionally their risk to humans, because brushing against one often means brushing against many. As they mature, they descend from the trees to find a place to pupate in the soil, transforming eventually into large brown moths that live only for a few days, just long enough to mate and repeat the cycle. Interestingly, the adult moths are completely harmless. They have no venom, no feeding apparatus, and pose zero threat to humans. It's only the caterpillar stage, that soft, bristly intermediate form, that holds this deadly power. Now here's the incredible part. Scientists are turning this deadly venom into something potentially life-saving. The unique enzymes in Lonomia obliqua venom that interfere with clotting are being studied for medical applications, such as treatments for blood clots, strokes, and heart attacks. If harnessed correctly, these same proteins that cause uncontrolled bleeding could help dissolve dangerous clots in patients suffering from thrombosis. Researchers have also found that the venom contains molecules capable of modulating the immune system and affecting cell growth, opening doors to potential cancer research. It's a perfect example of how nature's deadliest weapons can sometimes become humanity's greatest tools, if only we can understand them. As Dr. Marta Haberman from the Butantan Institute once said, "Every toxin is a potential medicine if we learn how to use it." But there's a worrying trend. In recent decades, sightings of Lonomia caterpillars have increased, not only in Brazil, but also in Colombia, Peru, and even parts of Venezuela. Climate change, deforestation, and agricultural expansion are bringing these forest-dwelling creatures closer to human settlements. In Colombia, for instance, scientists have identified another related species, Lonomia obliqua, which is also venomous, but slightly less potent. Together, these species are now considered a public health concern in several South American countries. Local governments have begun awareness campaigns, teaching rural workers and farmers how to recognize and avoid contact with these caterpillars. The warning is simple but life-saving. Don't touch fuzzy caterpillars on tree trunks. They may look soft, but they can kill. So how can you protect yourself if you live or travel in regions where Lonomia obliqua is found? Here are a few key facts to remember. 1. Appearance. They are green to brown, covered in rows of soft-looking spines arranged in V-shaped patterns along the body. 2. Behavior. They rest motionless on tree trunks or leaves, often in clusters. 3. Habitat. Found in humid forests and occasionally near plantations or backyards with dense vegetation. 4. Season. Most active during the warm, rainy months, typically from December to March in southern Brazil. If you spot a cluster of green caterpillars resembling moss or bark, don't touch. Warn others and contact local environmental authorities. And if you're accidentally stung, immediately wash the area with soap and water. Go to the nearest hospital or clinic. Inform doctors that you may have come into contact with a Lonomia species. Early treatment saves lives. The Lonomia obliqua perfectly embodies nature's paradox, beauty and danger intertwined. To the untrained eye, it's a fragile, unassuming creature. Yet hidden within it lies a biochemical arsenal that can bring the human body to its knees. But even so, this species plays a vital role in its ecosystem. It's part of the intricate web of life in the South American rainforest, contributing to biodiversity and even offering new frontiers in medical science. It reminds us that nature doesn't create evil, only survival strategies. The venom that kills humans evolved not as a weapon, but as a defense mechanism, to protect the caterpillar from predators like birds and small mammals. And in its own way, the Lonomia obliqua teaches us respect for nature's power and for the mysteries that still lie hidden in the forests around us. So the next time you wander through a tropical forest, remember this story. Behind every leaf, every piece of bark, there might be a creature with the power to astonish or to kill. The Lonomia obliqua is proof that even the smallest beings can hold immense power, that danger and discovery often come in the most unexpected forms. If handled with caution, its venom could one day help cure deadly diseases, a strange but poetic twist of fate. Until then, it remains one of the most mysterious and deadly caterpillars on the planet. This is the world we live in, a world full of beauty, danger, and endless wonder. You've been watching Amazing World Facts. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next deep dive into the planet's most fascinating creatures. And remember, sometimes the most dangerous things in nature are also the most amazing.